It's another day in America, and Cankles McTaco Tits, of course, is melting down online because he is the biggest titty baby with zero policy. He's still wound up like a cheap clock over the escalators at the UN, and he takes to Lie Social. And I'm just going to read the summary of the tweet. Um, Trump on escalator, teleprompter, audio gate. Trump says this wasn't a coincidence. This was a triple sabotage at the UN. I demand an immediate investigation. All security tapes at the escalator should be saved, especially the emergency stop button. The Secret Service is involved. This guy has no policy, you guys. He embarrassed himself on the international stage, and this is the shit that he lives for.
When I saw this, I thought, oh my gosh, it's filtered back to him, how embarrassing he was, how humiliated he should be. And I think everybody that's talking about this, we have the worst economy we've had in forever. His approval ratings are the lowest they've ever been. Farmers are going broke, but let's talk about the escalators at the UN to distract from everything, including the Epstein files. It's the biggest titty baby move I've ever seen.
These MAGA men, you guys, what we have to realize as we combat fascism and we try to push the Democratic Party to fight it with us is these MAGA men are babies. They're whiners. They're pussies. So it should be a layup, right? It should be a layup to defeat these guys. Well, much to my surprise, the Democratic resistance recently, Kylie popped this up, they take the bait on this Charlie Kirk resolution to honor him, that he was this great American and all of this stuff. And Joe Montfort on X says, why are Democrats losing elections? Nearly 100 Democrats, you guys, voted in favor of honoring Charlie Kirk. Why would any of them vote in favor of honoring a known bigot? We're playing two different games here, you guys. They are playing a game that they are going to consolidate power. They don't care about rules. Their number one agenda that they have said is to destroy the left. What does the left do? Hops in and plays patty cake and says, yes, let's honor a bigot who said the Voting Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake, who's a misogynist, a sexist, was just a horrific contributing factor to political discourse. Was it his right, the First Amendment? Yes. Does it mean it should be honored? Absolutely not. Shame on every Democrat that doesn't understand where the base is right now. We want you guys to go full tilt and say, no, we're not taking the bait for that. If you give a shit about Charlie Kirk, all of you MAGA Christians, then let's pass gun legislation. We're not taking the bait. We're not doing this. We're not playing patty cake with you all. And Hakeem Jeffrey should have whipped them all into shape and said, no.
Well, and they had the perfect opportunity to sponsor gun legislation and put Charlie Kirk's name on it and then let the Republicans vote no. But they didn't do that because they got scooped on this, if you will. It is a profound collapse in Democratic leadership, in my opinion.
And it just, I can't impress enough the two different games that they're playing right now. The Democrats are still trying to play bipartisan integrity politics with something that was a chicken shit. They baited them into it. And these morons took the bait because of the impotent, limp dick energy from Jeffries and Schumer. Shame on every single one of them for being so out of touch with what the base and now a lot of independents that you could bring in want you to do. You do the exact opposite. And here's the thing, Democrats, that you have to understand about these MAGA morons. It's never going to be enough. Now they are proposing putting Charlie Kirk on currency. Legislation has been filed in Congress to put Charlie Kirk on U.S. coins.
He's a podcaster, y'all. He was a podcaster.
Let's put pumps on the quarter.
I was going to say, if I died, if I was murdered, can you put pumps on a coin? Go pumps, head beaver in charge. I mean, shut the fuck up. This is unbelievable. He did not even hold a political position. I don't even know what to say.
And the Democrats, when you play with this, they will keep moving the goalposts. You have to understand about your enemy. MAGA. They want to destroy the Constitution. They want to abdicate and completely abandon the separation of powers. They are charging forward to do a lot of fuckery with the elections. This is insane. So when you take the bait, then they're just going to keep going. It's just like Donald Trump. We could sit here and do 95,000 podcasts about what a great guy he is. He's still going to be broken. He's still going to be an idiot. He's still going to have dementia. It's not going to fix his congestive heart failure. It's not going to fix his fragile, broken ego. But this is the thing about these MAGA men. They're such betas and they're such pussies. Whatever their leader does, then they all do it too. This is a MAGA man who claims to be a moderate Republican on CNN, and his name is Joseph Marino. Listen to what a pussy this guy is. Play the clip.
I don't think this is a legal issue. I don't think this can be pointed to the FCC or the Trump administration and say, well, this is about them going after Kimmel because of what he said. Personally, I think it's more of a cultural issue. And I got to tell you, look, I'm about as moderate a Republican as you're going to get. I'm from New York. I have not been comfortable watching late night television for 15 years because when you have conservative leanings and you're constantly mocked and you constantly feel like you're doing something wrong, you shut it off. You don't watch it anymore. And then what happens is it's circular. If the host doesn't have that audience,
he hasn't felt comfortable watching late night television for 15 years. What an absolute pussy. Guess what? I don't feel comfortable watching megachurch pastors on Sunday mornings. And I've never watched it because I have agency, I have autonomy, and I have a remote control. You total fucking pussy. These guys think that everything has to be geared for them. Comedy is about mocking people. And here's the thing, when you get on CNN and you act like that, you deserve to be mercilessly mocked for being the biggest beta imaginable, whining, complaining, moaning, that you are such a pussy that you can't use your remote control.
Here's the thing. They always say, we're so masculine. We're the alpha men. It goes back to, if you have to tell people you're an alpha male, you're not. If you have to go on and on about being gay and how bad it is, and for example, Jesse Water, what masculine is and how masculine he is, I immediately know he's not. Don Jr. saying, oh, I'm not on cocaine. You don't have to announce that if you're not on cocaine, which leads me to the Benjamin Netanyahu. I didn't kill Charlie Kirk 6 different times. So like follow the breadcrumbs. But if you have to tell people how totally strong you are and what an alpha you are, that means you're not.
And I just think it's stunning that this is such a layup to make. It's so easy to just completely point out what whining, complaining titty babies that are triggered by Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, and they don't realize that they have a goddamn remote control and they're victims of comedy. It is so absolutely pathetic. It is just beyond. And here's another one that was on CNN last night, Ben Ferguson, who's mad that Jimmy Kimmel doesn't feel the way Ben Ferguson wants him to feel. And he just completely melts down on CNN last night.
What I didn't like about what I saw from Jimmy Kimmel last night is the fact that he has more passion for this issue than he did for showing compassion for Charlie Kirk's widow and the Kirk family. And then he says it was just a joke. I think it's sad that there was this much rallying around him emotionally as he got last night and still refuses to show any compassion to the Kirk family. Let me just
what he said before, though.
It's a lie. It's a lie. This is so pathetic. They're sitting there arguing semantics of the degree in which Jimmy Kimmel feels. And why are they doing all this shit? Because their policies suck and their policies are unpopular and they are too big of pussies to take them through Congress and legislate them. Why is Kanks wanting to put the National Guard in all these cities and constantly trying to erode public trust in elections? Because he knows that if the midterms were today, even as impotent as the Democratic leadership is, it would still be a blue wave because they have nothing to deliver on except for grievances and the fact that they're all beta males and they want to be the thought police, the
Yes.
feelings police. And the fact that they have picked on a comedian right now who, after the more they pick on him, the more popular he gets. Jimmy Kimmel's metrics, ratings, viewings have far exceeded that of Charlie Kirk's funeral. And so if you want to continue down this road, continue to do it. But God damn it, Democrats, call them out and quit voting with these people and do not provide daylight to racism. All 90 of them, Pumps, over 90 of these Democrats provided daylight to racism. And the backbone of the Democratic Party are Black women. And who was the number one target of Charlie Kirk's rhetoric? Black women. Shame on every single one of you that did this. You're so breathtakingly out of touch with the Democratic Party. Go full fangs, full teeth after these men. They make it easy. They make it easy. We would go so hard in the paint for you guys if you would fight for us, but you don't. You vote to give racism daylight. It is so dangerous, regressive, and pathetic. Let's take a break from the news to hear from our sponsor. Listener, Delete Me makes it quick, easy, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. You guys, I realized that some of my personal information was on the internet and I signed up for Delete Me. And this is what I like about it the most. It does an initial sweep to remove and make requests to remove your information, but it continues sweeping for your personal information every single month.
With all of the doxing that you hear about out there, that is why I feel so much comfort having Delete Me.
The New York Times Wirecutter has named Delete Me their top pick for data removal services. Listener, take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to join deleteme.com/IHIP and use promo code IHIP at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go join deleteme.com/IHIP and enter code IHIP at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/IHIP, code IHIP. So this is such a layup, Democrats. It is such a layup. And if you give us ammo, the left-wing media dynamic is building. We're growing. Other podcasters are growing. But it's difficult to defend you when you're not going on attack and you're giving daylight to racists, which brings me to some polling that came out from Quinnipiac. This is really bad. Nearly 8 in 10 voters say the United States is in a political crisis. Quinnipiac University national poll finds optimism sinks for freedom of speech being protected in the United States. Democrats, you are in a political crisis. 8 out of 10 Americans, 80%, that's bipartisan, saying we're in a political crisis. Hakeem Jeffries, whip the Dems into shape, quit being a pussy, endorse the Democratic winner of the Democratic primary in New York, quit playing patty cake with AIPAC, be a leader, whip them all into shape and stop this nonsense. I have completely had it.
I completely agree. And here's the thing. This political crisis stems from a failure of Democrats and their leadership to meet the moment. Donald Trump and his administration are a fire hose to the Constitution. And instead of being a fire extinguisher, they're sitting there blowing on it like birthday candles. We need dynamic, robust leadership in this moment. And unfortunately, right now, we don't have it.
Put her on the quarter. Put her on the quarter.
I need a quarter.
All right, listen. A great way to support us, our podcast, so that we can keep doing this as long as we have the First Amendment. And just know that Pumps and I will never obey in advance, and we will always call out both sides so that you have a community and a place to come hear the truth. And a great way to support us is to buy our book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. We've had a very long history together, and this tells you, the reader, how we got to this very moment. We want to thank you all. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you all later today with more news.